I worked the overnight shift at a grocery distribution warehouse in Indiana. This happened last winter, and it's the reason I refuse to work nights anymore. The warehouse never really got quiet. Forklifts beeped. Conveyor belts hummed. Semi-trucks came and went all night. At around 2:15 a.m., I noticed a man in an orange safety vest walking through aisle 47. I didn't recognize him. That wasn't unusual, we had temporary workers all the time. But something about him felt off. He wasn't carrying a scanner. He wasn't pulling a pallet. He was just walking. Slowly. Like he was looking for something. I called over the radio. "Hey, who's in aisle 47? No one answered. 5 minutes later, I saw him again. Same aisle. Same slow pace. I figured he was lost, so I walked over. By the time I reached the aisle, it was empty. There was nowhere to hide. The shelves stretched nearly 30 feet high. The only exit was behind me. I shrugged it off and went back to work. Around 3 a.m., my supervisor asked if I'd finished inventory in aisle 47. I told him I hadn't because someone kept wandering around there. He frowned. There shouldn't be anyone there. I laughed. I literally just saw him. He didn't respond. Instead, he walked me to the security office. We pulled up the camera footage. The camera clearly showed me entering the aisle. Then, it showed me stopping. Turning toward someone. Nodding. Standing there for almost a full minute. As if I was having a conversation. But there was no one else in the video. Just me. Talking to empty air. I didn't know what to say. My supervisor quietly closed the recording. Neither of us mentioned it again. The rest of the shift was normal. At 6 a.m., everyone clocked out. As I was leaving, I checked the digital time clock. Under my name, there was another punch recorded. 2:43 a.m. Department, aisle 47. I never made that punch. I asked payroll to fix it the next morning. They couldn't. According to the system, it had been entered from a badge that was still in my pocket. I quit a week later. A month after leaving, one of my former coworkers called me. He sounded nervous. He asked one question. "Did you ever find out who you were talking to?" I said no. He stayed quiet for a few seconds before saying, "We reviewed older footage after you left. There are recordings from 6 different years. Different employees. Same aisle. Same time. They all stop. And talk to someone we can't see." He hung up before I could ask anything else. I've tried contacting him since. His number has been disconnected. Last month, I drove past the warehouse on my way to visit family. The building was still there. Business looked normal. Workers were coming and going. As I stopped at a red light, I looked toward the loading docks. One man was standing completely still. Orange safety vest. Looking directly at my truck. He slowly lifted one hand. Not to wave. To point. Toward aisle 47. The light turned green. I drove away. I never looked back. But every year, on the anniversary of that night, my bank account receives a direct deposit from the warehouse. The amount is always the same. $0. The payment description contains only 2 words. Shift pending.